Guys, we'll be starting the session in next 1 minute. So good evening and welcome to today's session of After Hours with William O'Neill India for July 27, 2022. I hope everyone's doing well and people living in Mumbai are enjoying the Mumbai monsoon. So before we start off, let me give you a small disclaimer that any stock, any security that we'll be discussing today should not be considered as a buy or sell recommendation and should be only taken for educational purposes. So without much ado, let's start with Nifty 50 chart analysis for the day. As we all know, last couple of days, Nifty was under good selling pressure, and it had breached its 100 DMA as well. Today, Nifty had a mutish opening, and post that mutish opening, Nifty made an intraday low of 16,438. But as you can see in this intraday chart, that post that low of 16,438, Nifty continued to march upward, and during this upward march, Nifty reclaimed its 100 DMA as well, and Nifty closed above 600 as well, which can be considered as a good closing for Nifty 50. Talking about the future resistances and support, Nifty, your 100 DMA can now act as a good support for your Nifty 50, and the possible next resistance can be the 200 DMA going forward. So, as I was discussing about your next set of resistances and support, the green line can be seen as your, one second, I'll use the marker. So Nifty has been consolidating around its 100 DMA. And the good thing is now that Nifty has given a strong closing above its 100 DMA, which can be considered as a good sign. So going forward, Nifty should hold on its 100 DMA for it to display some strength. And this black line above now can be considered as a strong resistance, which is the 200 DMA. If Nifty is able to take out the 200 DMA on above average volume, that can be considered as a good sign. So now talking about the William O'Neill lens. So as you know that Nifty 50 or the market is in confirmed uptrend now. We changed the market to confirmed uptrend in last week when we got a follow through day, and post the follow through day, Nifty has been rallying in a good phase and has reclaimed its 100 DMA and moved nearly 400 500 points above as well. So on the distribution front, we are currently the distribution count is one. On Monday, we recorded one distribution day. So the users who are new to the canceling system or to the William O'Neill criteria, distribution day is one where your major market index falls by 0.2% on volume higher than the previous day. So distribution day is used to track your market weaknesses. So if your distribution day stays low, like below 4, markets will continue to remain in confirmed uptrend. As your distribution day count goes high, above like 4, 5, 6 and above, markets will be, if that happens, market will be shifted to uptrend under pressure. So let's see how in the coming time what the market gives us. And talking about like major macro events, so the tonight your US Fed meeting can create some kind of volatility in the market as well. We'll be discussing about what to expect from the same in the upcoming slides. So talking about the top gainers and the losers, majority of your Nifty 50 companies were in the top gaining list, and very few, or I can say only four companies were there in the top losers. So out of the four, the top losers were your Bharati Airtel and your Bajaj Auto. The Bharati Airtel declined by 1.3%, Bajaj Auto by around 0.9%. Mainly Bajaj Auto delivered a very good set of numbers yesterday, which did beat consensus estimates. So it can be this 1% decline can be seen as a profit booking in Bajaj Auto. So on the other hand, talking about the top gainers are Sun Pharma, State Bank of India, Divi's Lab, LT, TCS, Bajaj Finance. All these stocks went up by around 3.2%, 2.7, 2.63, 2.5, and 2.3%. So Bajaj Finance also delivered its result today, which was highly above its consensus estimates. We'll be discussing the same in the next few slides, and that's why the positive reaction by this stock on the results as well. So talking about the sector view, as you can see, all the sectoral indices have closed in green, which is a really good sign. And especially if you talk about three to four sectors, your Nifty Media, your Nifty Pharma, and your Nifty PSU Bank were the real top gainers, which closed upwards of 2%. Other notable gainers were Nifty IT, which closed higher by around 1.7%, Nifty Bank by 1%, and Nifty Metal by around 0.8%. So as we were discussing about Bajaj Finance, and it was one of the top gainers in your Nifty 50 for today. So it did beat street estimates. So your net interest income increased by 47.9% YOY to 6,638 crores. PAT increased by 159.6% YOY to rupees 2596 crores, and your NPA ratio improved by 19 BPS QOQ to 0.51%. So a little from the investor presentation that I would like to share with you guys is that your core AUM growth was around 31% for this quarter, and even the new loans that were booked was 7.42 million against 4.6 million YOY. Talking about the overall B2B business disbursement grew by 83%. And in the current quarter, the company launched its non-captive two-wheeler financial business on 6 July 2022. So overall, all these can be considered as good positives for the company. And even in Q1, the company added 82 new locations. So currently, the geographical presence is standing at 3586 locations as of 30th June 2022. So if we talk about on the technical front, what the move that the stock created overall, if we look at it, the price trend for the stock is not that good, but in anticipation of the results, right? In anticipation of the results, and even when the results are delivered, we can see a good up move, not just in today's session, not just in today's session on heavy volumes, but in the previous sessions as well, which can be considered as a good sign. What is really important on the technical front for the stock is that the stock reclaimed the green line, which is the 100 DMA on above average volume, which is a real good sign. But the stock still has some technical weaknesses that if you look at the off highs is still 20.4% from the highs, which is much higher than that of even the general market as well, and even in comparison to the peers as well. So let's see how the stock behaves in the coming time, and is and will the positive momentum in the stock continue in the coming time frame. So talking about the next big result, like we did beat street estimates was Laurus Labs. So Laurus Labs is kind of consolidating after a good up move in the last year. And if we're talking about FY21, so in 22 it's been kind of a tepid mover, and but today's move was like out of the box post like a good set of numbers which did beat street estimates. It was a higher by around 6.3%. And as you can see, I'll again do the annotation for you guys. This blue candle and this blue candle. You can see like the volumes was much higher than the average volumes, and the up move was around 6.3%. So which was really good, and it reclaimed its 221 and 50 DMA as well. But still, the stock is trading well below its 200 and 100 DMA, which is not a good sign. And even the off highs is around 28.8%. So we did talk about the technical part. So now let's talk about um, the key, the results and the key trackables for the results. So talking about revenue increased by 20.4%, EBITDA increased by 14.8%, and EBITDA margins contracted around 150 bips to 29.5%, and PAT increased by 4.1%. So apart from your generic FTF business, all the other business, your generic API synthesis and bio division grew. So your FDF business generated around 349 crores in Q1, which was down by 33%. So your major growth in your FDF business was impacted by lower ARV business, while developed market sales continues to remain high for generic volume sales, offset by pricing pressure. Talking about the API, there was flattish growth kind of for a generic API growth of around 6%. And talking about synthesis was your major growth driver for this quarter. It delivered around 196% growth on top line to 577 crores. On the bio division front, the bio division front is still in your benign phase, and it is expected to be completely show full operational benefits of the new capacity by the end of FY23. So talking about the main macroeconomic event that is to happen tonight is like the Fed is expected to deliver its the rate hike call, and the market is already pricing in a 75 BPS rate hike. Post the last inflation data that was released northwards of 9% by US, there was even pricing in of 100 BPS rate hike as well. But the only thing right now is important is the future commentary on growth and the future commentary on inflation, and the in between lines to decipher around what are the future probabilities of the US central bank seeing for a recessionary scenario in the US. Right? All these things becomes really important, and if a hike of greater than 75 BPS is delivered in today's meeting, that can turn out to be a bad turn-off for the market, the US market in tonight's session, and maybe for the Indian market in tomorrow's session as well. So talking about the chart of the day, the chart of the day for us is Minda Corporation. And before we discuss the chart going forward, uh, uh, I would like to say that it's not a buy or sell recommendation, and it should only be taken for educational purpose. So the Q1 FY23 results is not yet released, and talking about the positives on the qualitative front for Minda Corporation, the overall order book remains strong for FY22, where around 5,930 crores of orders were won in FY22. The die casting business, or which is a generic business, is standing at a utilization of 65 to 70%, and which can generate a peak revenue of 550 crores going forward. And optimum utilization, the company is targeting 10 to 12% business growth over the next 3 to 5 years. But the major revenue drivers in future for the company is expected to come in the space of EV, as the company is seeing new entrants as well as established OEMs giving them new orders. And EV orders or for the products such as battery chargers, your telematics, your wire harness, your key systems, etc. In the next 3 to 4 quarters, they expect the penetration in the EV space to improve. Even the content per vehicle is also improving for the company. The even on the other front, the PLI or the production linked incentive scheme has also been approved for the company, and the net debt level is around 55 crores versus 16 crores for FY21. Even for the current quarter, the company is expected to deliver a good result. As we all seeing that the chip shortage issue has been declining, but overall, the comment on commodity prices, like major commodity prices have been declining around 20 to 30% in the last couple of months. So the management commentary on margins and your commodity prices is expected to remain the key. And even on the demand front, what they're seeing new orders in terms of the EV space and in the non-EV space as well. So talking about on the chart front and the ratings front, as you can see, the ratings is on the buyer demand is really good at A. Even the EPS strength is really good at 87. Number of fund holding is also good at which is increased by around 44.68% for the quarter. If you talk about the price trend is fair. But if you look at the right hand side of the cup base, the count of the cup base is not visible here, but it's a stage one cup base, which is a really good sign. And even the RS line has been increasing on the right hand side of the cup base. As you can see in the down in the volume bars as well, the right hand side has shown good accumulation on which is the stock moving higher on above average volume. And which is a really good cup formation. Talking about the handle formation, in the handle formation, volumes need to dry up. I mean, that's what happens in the cup, that your stock tends to move in the sideways direction, or even can decline by around 5 to 10% on very low volume. So that's what is happening, and that's why the RS line has kind of flattened out in this handle phase as well. But overall, the RS overall, the technical setup for the stock remains good, and the stock is still 6% from the pivot. So let's see how the stock behaves around the pivot, and whether the stock is able to give a clean breakout or not on above average volume. So that's it from my side, and it was a pleasure interacting with you guys. And do stay connected with us on both the shows, the After Hours with William O'Neill India, and as well as the Pre-Bell at 4:30 p.m. and 8:45 a.m. sharp. And do connect with us on the other two shows, that is the Bazaar Pe Charcha with the Trader Smith team, and your Stock Darbar as well.